Imagine for a moment that from a very young age, your life was marked by inexplicable encounters, in which strange figures, almost like something out of a cartoon, watch you from the darkness, and in which reality blurs before your mind. These aren't isolated memories or fantasies. They're experiences that follow you, that shape your destiny, and that open the doors to secrets so profound that only a few have come to understand. Today, I'll tell you the story of someone who experienced all of this firsthand. From her first nights under the starry sky to the hidden facilities where logic-defying technology was her daily reality. Prepare to discover what many wish to hide. I am Scully 9. Observation Protocol Online. Accessing declassified data. Transmission begins now. In the world of the most closely guarded secrets, there are stories that take years to come to light, and when they do, they forever change the perception of those who hear them. Our protagonist, after more than a decade of silence, has decided to share what he experienced. It wasn't an easy decision. Certain recent events have convinced him that it's safer to speak than to remain silent. Furthermore, he feels the public deserves to know the truth. A truth he has carried since childhood. His story doesn't begin in the military, but long before that. His grandfather had served in the army, and his father in the navy. Since he was a child, he dreamed of wearing a uniform and following that family legacy. However, before joining the armed forces, something extraordinary happened to him. Something that, perhaps, would mark the course of his entire life. The first contact he remembers occurred in 1979, on the quiet expanse of a 5-acre farm located in Fort Myers, Florida. He was just a child, and that night seemed like any other. The sky was clear, and the silence of the countryside enveloped him. What he didn't know was that that night would be forever etched in his memory. He was lying in his sleeping bag, outdoors, enjoying the stars. Suddenly, a light appeared on the horizon, moving slowly at an angle of about 45 degrees. The trajectory was unusual. It wasn't an airplane. The object seemed to be moving at low speed, perhaps a kilometer or two away, until it entered a nearby wooded area. He wasn't immediately alarmed. He thought it might be something conventional. But upon closer inspection, he noticed the object had a strange shape, unlike any aircraft he had seen before. Minutes later, he realized it had landed much closer than he imagined, just a few acres away, on a swampy piece of land belonging to a neighbor, approximately 5 to 10 acres away. Intrigued, he settled near a barbed wire fence, the kind with 4 or 5 taut rows often used to contain livestock. The cold was intense, so he remained inside his mummy-like bag, but he couldn't take his eyes off the spot where he thought the object had descended. That's when he heard something. The distinctive, metallic sound of someone, or something, climbing a fence. He recognized the squeal of the wire being pressed down, the clatter of the hooks holding it in place, and then, a jump. Whatever it was had fallen to the other side, advancing toward him. In that instant, his body tensed. He remained calm, but alert. Inside the bag, within reach, was a weapon. Outside, the sound of footsteps was slowly approaching. They weren't human footsteps. There was something about the cadence, the weight of the footsteps, that didn't fit. That was the first of 2 encounters he would experience throughout his life. The second would come many years later, around 1998 or 1999, already in his adult years, after his time in the military. This time, the experience would be much more intense, a complete landing, a very short distance from where he was camping. But that would be a story for later. That first event on the farm, however, marked a before and after. From then on, he became obsessed with observing the night sky. He spent more nights under the stars than inside his house. And although he never experienced anything like that again in his childhood, the seed of curiosity was already planted. And one day, that seed would germinate strongly. Returning to the second encounter, which took place around 1998 or 1999, when he was already an adult and after his time in the military, the experience was much more intense and intimate than the first. That day, while camping in a remote location, he felt a slight unease, a feeling he didn't know if it came from himself or from the creature nearby. He immediately grabbed the zipper of his sleeping bag, gun already in hand, and finally closed it while holding his weapon and a flashlight. Then he clearly saw the creature. The creature had a greyish-blue color and large blue eyes that stood out immediately. On its head, it had small, antenna-like appendages, like those you see in movies or cartoons. When he described its eyes, he made it clear that they weren't the typical black, almond-shaped eyes of the greys, but rather very vivid blue eyes. Its body was very thin and scrawny, and the blue it had was similar to the color of his shirt. He was still trapped in the sleeping bag as the creature stared at him, the flashlight beam seeming to bother his eyes. In his mind, he thought the creature seemed to realize something was wrong, as if it had crashed its ship and was looking for help nearby, something he found embarrassing to admit. The creature moved quickly and entered a nearby thicket. Suddenly, there was the sound of someone jumping a barbed wire fence to return to that area. Adrenaline filled him, especially since it was so late at night. Although he tried to follow it, he couldn't see anything else. Returning to the first event, which could be very relevant to understanding his military history, he recounted that after that encounter, there were many more experiences, but that at the time he didn't understand what he was going through. He recalled that as a child, he used to sleepwalk and was often outside in a state somewhere between asleep and awake, very aware of what was happening around him. His parents noticed that his feet were dirty every morning and often caught him walking at night, entering or leaving the house, although he had never hurt himself. Later, after joining the military, his story took an unexpected turn. He participated in unconventional programs and tests where he was subjected to exams that seemed beyond the pale, including advanced questions in physics, magnetism, and geometry. Despite not understanding many subjects, he achieved high results, which opened doors for him in his military career, especially in roles related to flight and technology. He recalled being trained to be an F-15 Eagle pilot and the opportunities he had, including offers to work on space projects. However, his interest was always in flying. This step in his life served as a bridge between his early experiences and the advanced technology he later encountered. On the other hand, tell me what you think. Can you imagine going through such special military training that not only prepares you for war, but for something much bigger, something few know about? What would you think if I told you there are experiences that change someone else's life forever? Tell me what you think. 2. Encounters with these beings, myth, reality, or something we simply don't want to accept? Do you believe they are visiting us and that only a few have had the opportunity to see them? What would you do if you were standing in front of one? 3. When you hear stories about technology that seems out of this world, do you get excited, scared, or just don't believe it? Do you think there are already such advanced secrets we can't even imagine? 4. Have you had a strange experience that you don't know how to explain? Something that made you question everything you believed? Share your story. No one judges here. 5. Do you think the military is really involved in secret projects involving extraterrestrial beings and technology? Or is it just the stuff of movies and conspiracies? Let me know what you think. I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts. Leave us your comments. During his time at secret facilities, he experienced situations that seemed straight out of science fiction. Advanced technological devices, such as a glowing bracelet that recorded every movement within the facility. He mentioned a device similar to a flexible, holographic iPad, which they used to access databases in real time and which connected to the workroom to project 3D images. He also spoke of a security system with color codes on its band, where a yellow color indicated a security breach, usually due to contamination or an attempt to extract restricted material. These experiences showed the level of technology and control at these facilities, and how he became part of something much larger and more mysterious. There were serious incidents within the facility. He recalls several security breaches, where alarms were triggered and strict containment measures were imposed. On one occasion, someone tried to remove restricted material, and the response was immediate. Emergency protocols were activated, and special teams were deployed to recover what was lost. His close friend, who worked in security, told him about a hybrid creature, half animal, half machine, created in those laboratories. This creature was extremely strong, with metal claws embedded in its bones, and was virtually indestructible. When this creature escaped to the surface, the special team had to neutralize it with extreme measures, including explosives, as it was impossible to contain it otherwise. The deep marks on the transport vehicle were evidence of the brutality of the encounter, and everyone on the base knew of the threat. These stories seem like they're straight out of a movie, but they are the testimonies of someone who lived and witnessed these realities. Today, our protagonist has decided to share these experiences with the world. He knows there are still many hidden secrets, but he believes it's time to pave the way to the truth. Perhaps in the future, more people will be encouraged to speak out, and the mysteries that seemed unattainable will begin to be revealed. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of the unknown. If you enjoyed this story and want to know more, subscribe, like, and share so we can bring you more stories like this one. See you in the next video, where we'll explore new secrets and surprising testimonies.